Okay, this is segment 2 of the moon projection deception video that I'm covering. Back at the start. So, back to this edge again. Still working away, still doing the same things. Here we go. This is where the video ended last time. So, I'm just going to rattle on here in the background again. I was thinking about maybe I should go and read a story or something. I'm not really sure what to do. Okay, back again. So, as you're watching the moon, on the machine, you might call it, you wonder how the ancients would have viewed this. Did they have any knowledge that it wasn't actually the lunar moon? Did they know it was a machine? The Anunnaki, also known as the Annuna, the Annunaki, the Annunaki. So these are the ancient deities from the Mesopotamian cultures, i.e. Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, Babylonian. Nil-in, Enlil. N equals Lord, plus equals Lil, wind. Lord of the storm, the god of breath. Wind, loft and breadth. Air, height and distance. So, it was the same person they were on about, right? Air, Enlil, right? You have Enki as well. So Enlil means Lord of the air, Lord of the wind, Lord of the breath, Lord of life, right? Depending where you're going, but later on in the Assyrian, Babylonian times, the Hittites, the Canaanites, and what you'll find on the old clay stone tablets, there's kind of different there. Elul, right? Enlil was the son of Ansha and Kisha, right? That was in the days of the Hyksos. That's a Greek name. So that was coined from another name to identify these deities. It was usually the northern rulers of Asiatic. They kind of give them the, if you look at Egyptian kind of Greek, because you had Cleopatra coming in, she's Greek. Mark Antony, also Greek, but through the Roman lineage. In those days, that was the Hyksos, meaning the ruler. Josephus translated the name as the Shepherd Kings. That's where you get, "Oh Lord is my shepherd." The shepherd being the herder, shepherd kings, king of the shepherds, i.e. king of the night, king of the night time, right? So you've got the Nephilim, who are the offsprings of the sons of gods or the daughters of men that you'll read about in Genesis. So you've also got the giants who habitated the the Canaanite areas, and you have Goliath probably being the most famous of those giants. Just as you're watching this video, I'll just rattle along. You're actually in an X-ray segment at the minute, and I'm showing you one of the rotaries spinning round in the centre of your screen there. If you keep looking, you'll see it rotating. So these are good stories. I like stories. I like knowing things. The Anunnaki mined monotonic gold. Seemingly they came from Mars. This is the story that you're supposed to believe. And they created, obviously, you've got Babylonia, you've got the Tower of Babel, all these things coming from the Anu. We could go a lot deeper into that, but at the minute I'm just trying to get through this video just by talking. So where does the Anunnaki and the moon come in? It just depends on who you're talking to. Right? Did they have a presence on the moon? No. As I've said, it's a machine you're looking at. People have loads of ideas about it, they make, like I said, money out of books about this, and they're just talking nonsense. It's all intellectual stuff. You think, oh, but wait a minute, they've got degrees and they're this and they're experts, and yeah, okay, just like you're trying to get control of something that you never had control of in the first place. You understand that? You run around trying to control things because you never had control. You have never had control. And this is your whole obsession in life, is to control things and tell people things. Piss off. I'm not going to listen to you. Right? I am not going to listen. I'll tell you why I'm not going to listen. Because it's a load of shit. Right? A lot of absolute fucking garbage. The whole lot of it. So you have the ancient gods of Sumer. These are the dudes that are supposed to came down. You get them in Genesis. You get them in the Acts of the Tales of Gilgamesh. All the creating myth stories, they're all there, and they seemingly appear around about 4,500 BCE, and you'll find them in the northern regions of Iraq, and you'll find them in the regions of Turkey, the Kurdistan region. The Kurds, I believe the Kurds are in the cradle of civilization, as they would have called it in those days. We were saying earlier about Babylonian. There's loads of ziggurats. The ziggurats were basically built to worship the moon and the Anunnaki, with layered pyramids and flat tops. These are the pyramid systems. They're trying to copy what they've seen, right? So you've got 7 slave populations going around in those days, 7 temple gods, right? You've got priesthood rulerships giving way to kings. So all these guys, these Sumerians, were skilled. They were skilled trade merchants and had a real zest for everything. They would get things from white corners like China and Afghanistan. They would get wood from the Lebanon. They would get gold from the Indus Valley, which is where the Vamana, the ancient Vamana tales come from. They also brought in the plough. They also introduced the first 24-hour day, 60-minute hour, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of archaeological and geologic things going down. There's written evidence, there's cuneiform tablets, there's loads of things that have been discovered, but they've been hidden away, and you've got very few experts that can read these cuneiform tablets, and very, very few of them have actually been translated. A lot of them are lost as well when certain invading armies came in and decided to destroy their tablets and stuff, because obviously they were pagans. They worshipped serpent gods and the like. So those are the ancient days. Then the Sumerians, they worshipped the Anunnaki. So they did. They worshipped them to the hilt. What you're seeing in Egypt and all over the world are the remnants of a civilization that worshipped these sky gods, the Anunnaki, those who came from the sky to below. And they said to the people of the earth, and the sky god, and Ki, or Kai, the earth goddess, the biggest chief among them was Enlil, and that's a god of air. That's air that you breathe, right? So in the pantheons, these were passed on to the Akkadians, Babylonians, Assyrian cultures, the epic of Gilgamesh, story of historical king of Sumerian city, you know what I mean, Uruk, so that's in the ancient literary relics of what's left of the Sumerian culture that you can actually look at. And you've got the mainstream narratives about the Anunnaki. They're just different conclusions based on archaeological evidences, and people will try and analyse that and translate it into different forms. So you've got another side. You've got different people who You know, obviously you've got Eric von Daniken, Michael Kreml. These guys are pretty good. Zachariah Stitchin, authors of the Chariots of Gods. You've got Michael Tellinger. Who else is there? There's loads of people. They make good arguments for the Anunnaki, you know. So they're posing, they came down to us and we thought they were gods, or they pretended to be gods. So these sky gods basically are genetically engineered, and they engineered the human race as a slave species for them, right, to mine their monotonic gold, because they could be bothered. They had the Nephilim then that were introduced, and then they kicked off, and they get wiped out, and we're the remnants in that. We're still the slaves. There's loads of weak links in your evolutionary stories, but that's another time. So you've got the ancient astronaut theories that come in this, right? This is the offshoot. They've been posing as gods, and, you know, they've been influencing our affairs for thousands of years. So you're using human labour to extract the massive amounts of gold that they need. So they've got discoveries of mining tunnels in South Africa, they've got relics, they've got the links to the Sumerians, you've got, you know, nobody knows why they wanted the gold, they don't know how much was taken, but basically they introduced the concepts of money and finance and a debt to the human societies that we live in. So you've also got the beings that they're meant to have originated from, Nibiru, also known as Planet X. They've been added, you know, onto it. The stories have been told that off-worldly gods are bringing advanced technologies to us, and they've got sophisticated megastructures that they built on Earth, such as the Pyramid, Stonehenge. You know, they don't fit all the ancient cultures of China and their megastructures of South America's, the Incas, the Mayans. You know, all these kind of dudes. So the Sumerians were known to know their astronomical and their mathematical knowledge, right? And that was said to have came from the Anunnaki. So, where are we in this video? So we're still in the video now. Cool. So in these days of the city-states, you know, you had your overseers, who were your Anunnaki gods. Marduk was probably, you know, that was a senior Anunnaki. So you've got all sorts of societies coming into this, you know, the secret doctrines of the reptilian races that, you know, they still rule us to this day, and they're deeply entrenched into us, right? Because you have what you'd call dragon men. That's relating to the Sumerian civilizations. And then of course you've got David Icke. He's been on loads of stuff, you know, disclosure, conspiracy lectures all around the world since the 1990s. And he's reported that, you know, he reported about Jimmy Savile being a paedophile, and obviously that's being proven. But that's a big event, that one. I think his other stuff's starting to come to light as well. So he believes that the imposter gods are the Anunnaki, and they continue to manipulate our civilization from the political, corporate, financial power districts of the world. They have their dragon men involved. So these beings are not only, no, they don't just exploit us, but they feed off our fear, like I've said before. And what we need to do is disconnect from them, you know. We need to disconnect from the media, we need to disconnect from the entertainment, we need to disconnect from the fashion and all that kind of things, because these are all triggers for fear and anxiety, and that kind of agitates and amps up your hypnotic state. So if you believe in all that stuff, that's fine and well, but Anunnaki reptilian is probably completely unbelievable to a lot of people, but the breadcrumbs are there. We have a reptilian brain, like I said before. And I'm finished with this video. Thanks very much. I might do another one. Cheers.